Welcome into another episode of Over the Net, a Mizzou volleyball interview series. I'm Matthew Gustafson, and today I am joined by Mizzou's starting setter, Marina Crownover. Marina, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, obviously, one of the headlines from this week, after breaking your career high in assists, over 60, at least 60 assists in each of the two matches, you were named the SEC Setter of the Week for the third time this season. How does it feel to get that award?
It feels awesome. I mean, I came here for a reason, and I feel like it's all kind of fallen into place. But I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it without kind of my hitters and them just executing the ball. So
why don't we start with that big match against Arkansas? Obviously, one of the better teams in the NCAA, receiving votes. I believe top 30 in the RPI as well. And that was where you had your career high 61 assists along with 4 aces and 11 digs. Team fell behind in the first set, but then got the reverse sweep. So what shifted for the team after that first set, leading to winning the next 3 in the match?
Yeah, I think we came together and we just talked about how we needed to clean up our game. We were just a little too higher for how we wanted to execute the match. So we came together. We're like, we can play as a team. We know what we're doing. Let's just execute our game plan and let's do it at a high level. So I think the switch was just putting balls in play, making them play defense, and then ultimately, putting the ball down.
And then one of the big things with Arkansas, of course, is their blocking. One of the best in the SEC. You have Zoe Evans there. How do you account for a middle like that who can just absolutely wreck a game plan when you're going into a match?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. I think it just attests to a lot of our preparation and game plan and just the amount of film, just watching back, see what she does, see what her tendencies are, and then just being able to adjust in match of what she's doing and how she's moving and how am I going to, reverse the flow or kind of get the ball away from her and create seams for my hitters.
And then on Sunday, going into Oklahoma, a team that you are quite familiar with, I'm sure. But first time facing them in the SEC, you lead 2-1. You're up 22-17 in the fourth set. Sooners go on a late run to 4-5, and that was an incredibly close fifth set. I'm not sure how many set points, how many match points there were in that fifth set, but I know it was a lot of them. But eventually, Tigers get the final 2 points, and you ended up getting the match-winning ace. So the first question I have is, what went through your head when you saw that ace had clinched the victory?
Honestly, I just felt like relieved and just so happy. I feel like my serve, I've been working on it really hard for the past couple of weeks. And so just to finish like that, it was so satisfying. And it was like, just to end it, because I know we were going point by point. We were battling hard. So it was just like, just to stop it there. Sounds great. It was really refreshing and just like, 5 sets, almost 2.5 hours of volleyball done.
And then in that fifth set, obviously, there were several timeouts called, and like I said, the back and forth. What do you think it was that kind of finally gave the team the edge to get over the top and get that win?
I think in close fifth sets, it's really about who wants it more and who's going to take it. And I feel like our hitters just hit fearlessly. I mean, that Oklahoma block is huge, and they've been putting up record numbers all season. And so I think it's just their fearlessness of just going up and hitting the ball and not being afraid of that block is kind of what made us, just take it in the end.
And then why don't we talk about that offense? Obviously, one of the best in the SEC, one of the best in the country, leading conference in hitting percentage, only team hitting over 300, only team with over 1,000 assists in the SEC, only team with over 1,000 kills in the SEC. What has made the offense so effective this season?
I think it's just my hitters are just executing at a really high level. I think they just put the ball down. I mean, it makes my job really easy. But I make sure that I watch enough game film beforehand so that I know exactly what I'm doing and when I need to hit players. And then just hitting the hot hand, really. It's just finding the best hitter and then feeding them. So I think they just execute the game really well. And so it kind of makes my job easy. They just make me look good.
And then you talked about finding the hot hitter. How do you strike that balance between, okay, maybe we were going to target, this player a little bit more before the match in the game plan versus, okay, Michael or Jordan or Colleen or Janet or Reagan is just absolutely on fire right now, and we got to get it to them as much as possible.
Yeah, I think at the start of the game, anything could happen. That's where I stick to my game plan and I go with kind of how we're going to trick the defense. And then as the game develops, and especially like Michael during Arkansas, I mean, you just see her string together 4 or 5 kills in a row, and you're like, this girl's just putting the ball down no matter what. So then you kind of just look at her and you're like, okay, you're going to get every ball. Like you just keep getting kills until it doesn't work anymore. And so that's kind of just what I do. I just feel the hitter, feel their confidence, see what they're doing on the court, 4 or 5 kills, and then you just keep feeding them, and that turns into more,
And then you talk about Michael Vernon, new program record, 37 kills. I think she had, it was like 78 total attempts and hit 385. Just absolutely incredible match, and like anything that I've seen in the time that I've been covering the team. It wasn't like the team had 260 during the match. There were some other players who were struggling. Just how key was Michael to that victory? And, what were you seeing from her throughout that match?
Yeah, I think, losing the first set, we all kind of started slow. And so it was like, who's going to step up and who is going to put the ball down so that we can come back in this match? I mean, Arkansas was playing a great game. They were playing really scrappy defense. But I mean, she really just stepped into her role, and she saw that, other people were struggling or the team was struggling, and she took it upon herself to change that, which I think was a huge momentum change and just a huge mood change on our side, where she was also allowing other people to kind of feed off of her energy, which I think ultimately made other people successful too. So I think it was really important that she stepped up in that match.
And then looking at the last, couple of weeks as a whole, obviously 6-match winning streak, you're tied for second in the SEC with Kentucky. What have been the keys to that winning streak?
I think for us, it's just playing really good, consistent volleyball for a long period of time. I think we worked super hard in practice to try and mimic that, and just doing end game scenarios. And we just are all out relentless and just fearless when we play. And I think also the energy that we bring and the fire that we bring, especially our bench, I think that really just fuels us and makes us want to do great. And then they just turn into wins.
Now, you talked about the bench, and there are a lot of different celebrations. There's some players who get really into it. I know Grace Sweeney has kind of been an energy boost as a freshman. What are your favorite celebrations that you've seen the bench do?
Wow. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to see all of them, but I really like the ace one where, we just kind of put a bow and arrow in the sky. I think that has to be my favorite one. Yeah.
Okay. And then we talked about the winning streak, and something that I've really noticed over this is just the defense, and it's just been kind of on a different level. Looking, and that it's supported by the stats. You look at, 12th in the SEC in opposing hitting percentage, but in conference matches specifically, in the top half of the SEC, it's 7th. What's made the difference in the defense during conference play, and what sparked that improvement?
I mean, you got to give it all to Maya Sands. I mean, she is just a pivotal libero on this team. She is amazing. I mean, she leads the court in a way that the backcourt in a way that's just so important for us. And I think that Kiara and myself and Jordan and everybody and Michael, all of us have so much trust in her and how she leads the court. And like, I'm really confident just letting her take a lot of balls and letting her cover a lot of the court, and so that we can fill in the other areas, which is just easier for us. So I think she just leads the court really well and does a really great job kind of telling us where we need to be, or, just creating that urgency of nothing drops and pursue everything. So.
And you've also been key on the defensive end, I believe. 7 double-doubles so far this season. And, I mean, you are doing a lot of different things on the court. Obviously, setting is the key thing. But, double-doubles, you saw 4 aces against, I believe it was Arkansas. And then usually get like 1 to 2 kills per match as well, get a couple of attacks in there. What's your favorite part of being on the court? What's your favorite part of being the setter outside of setting?
Yeah, I think it's fun that you bring up defense, because I've worked really hard on my defense, and I think that one of the most underrated skills that can make you one of the most elite setters in the country is your defense and your ability to pick up balls. Because you don't want that part of the court to be a black hole. You want to pick up everything you can. And so I just absolutely love playing defense. I love pursuing balls. I love diving for them, getting pancakes all the time. So that's kind of one of my favorite things other than just the art of setting. But I think overall, it's just like the competitive fire that we bring is one of the things that I just love and feed into on the court. And is honestly, I think why we all play so well together is just because we're so excited and we just get so pumped up for each other.
And then, looking at not only the defense, but serve receive is something that, the stats have shown has really improved a lot recently as well. I was looking at the stats yesterday. I think third fewest aces allowed in the SEC. How has that ability to, have better serve receive really helped you when setting?
Oh my gosh, it helps me so much. I mean, when I have a ball in the middle of the court, high in the middle of the court, I have all three, maybe four options, with the back row attack. So, and I mean, that can just really help me when I'm distributing the ball. And so I can trick the block easy when I'm, neutral. I can hit my middles and establish them. And that's really important because the blockers on the other side will have to, stay and wait for those middles instead of releasing to the pins or who they think that I'm going to set. So I think having in-system balls is just so important to winning.
And then something as well over the winning streak, not only just the kind of that first attack, but, there have been some really long rallies and, some of that transition offense. What has been the key in kind of improving that transition offense and then winning some of those long rallies? Is it kind of like that fifth set where it's just who wants it more, kind of keeping that energy up?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely plays a role in it. I think that we've worked a lot and focused a lot on our transition in practice and just, being able to block and get off really efficiently so that you can approach really hard. And I think our hitters have done an incredible job of, just either digging and then releasing back to swing and then making a really smart shot. So I think that's gotten just so much better over the past couple of weeks.
And then looking forward to, first I want to ask you one more thing about defense. So, you talked about working really hard to improve that defense. Where do you think you've seen the biggest improvement in yourself over the course of this season? And then where do you think you've seen the biggest improvement in the team as a whole over the course of this season?
I think for myself, I think it's just being able to release to defense and then pursue those tips and those balls and just scooping them up and giving our hitters a chance to hit the ball and put the ball down. I think that's something that, tip pursuit is something that I've worked on a lot and I think it's gotten better for me. And then I think as a team, I think we've gotten a lot better of, just setting our block in the right place so that our defense behind it can kind of, our block is funneling it into that area so that we can make digs look effortless. So
looking forward to Friday, obviously a very, very big match with the top 10 Texas Longhorns, a team that you were a part of for the prior two seasons. Now, I'd have to imagine, does that provide some extra motivation heading into that match? And especially going up against people that you knew that you were teammates with for multiple years?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's really exciting. I have like a nervous, excited energy. I'm really hungry. I'm ready to go get a win,
And then why don't we talk about the transfer process? Obviously played at Texas, won 2 national titles, and I believe you're an Austin native as well. What led to that decision to go into the portal?
Yeah, I think I was just ready to step up into a new role and kind of take, all the training and efforts and everything I've been doing and take that on the court and get some play time. So I think that's ultimately why I decided to look elsewhere. Yeah.
And then once you got in the portal, what was your process like and what led you to Mizzou?
Yeah, I mean, the process was crazy. I remember doing it the first time and it was also crazy and super hard, but this process was all that super hard stuff like crammed into a couple weeks. So it was a lot of phone calls, a lot of, stressful moments, things like that. But When I talked to Wendell for the first time, I talked to him for about 50 minutes, I think, on our first call. And I fell in love with him as a person and as a coach. I thought he looked at the game at a really high level, and he looked at it from different angles and different perspectives, which I love doing because I just love the game in general and all the different ways you could play it and all the different ways you could look at it. And so I thought we were really like-minded in that way. So I already loved it. And then, I got on the phone with Dawn, and I thought that was great. And she was just an awesome coach who I think is going to lead this team extremely far and is setting up this program to be a top 10 in the nation program in the future. So coaching-wise, it kind of all fell into place. I fell in love with them and their coaching style, and also just their personalities. They seemed like really great people that are going to help me become strong, confident women, as Dawn always says, because, that's the end goal. As much as I love volleyball, I also want to be prepared for what's after volleyball. And I think this place is really going to set me up for success in the future.
What was the moment, if you're able to pinpoint it, when you kind of knew, okay, my decision has been made, I know Mizzou's the right fit?
Yeah, so this is when I went on my visit and I was here. And I had like maybe another visit afterwards, and I was still kind of deciding. That's why this trip was very like, I'm not going to make a decision. I don't know yet. But it was kind of like the last day, and I got stuck here with my dad for an extra day because of all the snow. We were in like a snowstorm. So we stayed an extra day, and I had time to think it over. And then I was having breakfast with Dawn, and I just kind of sat there, and I'm like, I can't leave without saying that I'm coming here, and because I just felt in my gut that this was the right decision, and that she's going to help me become the absolute best I can be, and she's going to take me to the next level and help me achieve all the goals that I need to. And so I just kind of like, while I was eating my breakfast sandwich right at the out, I was just like, oh, actually, Dawn, I think I'm coming here. I think it's just gonna happen. I don't need to think anymore. I think I'm just gonna make the decision. And so I went home later that day, and then about a day or two, I drove back up and started school.
Now, do you remember what was in the breakfast sandwich?
Oh, it was actually really good. It had eggs and I think some arugula and sausage and cheese and a little bit of like hot honey, I think.
Okay.
It was very good.
Well, if I ever see it, then I will think of it as either the Crownover or the Commitment.
Exactly. Yes. I forgot the name of the place, but
okay. And then now you're on the team, you're in classes, but how long did it take you to really feel like you were a part of the team?
Well, I mean, teammate wise, it really just took me a couple weeks. I mean, the team is so inviting and so welcoming. I just didn't feel like an outsider when I came in. Even on my visit, when I was talking to Colleen and Naomi, kind of when I stayed with them for the night, they just made me feel like one of them. They made me feel like a friend already when I just met them. And so coming onto this team was no different. I mean, the first day in practice, I mean, it was smiles, it was laughter, it was getting to know me. And I think it's just really special to walk into a team and then they immediately welcome you into their group. So it was kind of immediately, honestly.
And how did it help to have, obviously Michael transferring in, Yarley's transferring in, Elena transferring in as well. How did it help to have a couple of other people that were going through that same experience as well?
It was really helpful. I mean, just having somebody that, especially Elena, I mean, she came from Texas. I mean, she's originally from St. Louis, but she came to A&M, and then we both kind of came here together. I mean, she was coming back home, but it was still kind of like we were doing the same shift back. And so I think it was really helpful. We were just going through struggles together, and I mean, we got super close, and we were just leaning on each other if we ever felt kind of outsider or like we weren't fitting in yet, or we needed to find the groove. And so it was really helpful to have people in your corner that just understand what you're going through.
And culture is something that is really talked about a lot with this team. Coach Sullivan was on Tiger Talk on Tuesday and talked about love, family, grit, LFG, also the motto for something else. And she said, that's a little bit of it too. But, what does that motto mean to you?
It means so much. I mean, I love that LFG can have two meetings, and one can fire you up and one can it should like center you and what your values should be on this team. But I mean, I do treat this team like a family. They are all my sisters, and I would do anything for them on and off the court. So,
And then looking back to that Texas matchup, what are going to be the biggest things that this team needs to do in order to really go toe to toe with the Longhorns?
yeah, I mean, I think first off, I think Texas has one of the best serving teams, is one of the best serving teams in the nation. So I think it's just really focusing in on our serve receive, making sure we're in system all the time so that we can, spread our offense, get our middles involved, things like that, so we can trip up their middle. And then I think it just comes down to who wants it more again, of just how are we going to execute it at a high level for a long period of time? How are we going to, take the energy and build momentum so that we can kind of demoralize them and, get our side going as much as possible.
And then obviously facing one of the top 10 teams in the country, two-time defending national champs, a team that you have teammates on, I'm sure you have friends on, that you were a part of. What would beating Texas mean to you?
I mean, it would be everything. It would be awesome. I mean, I've been saying it since the day I signed here, of just, hey, I'm in the same conference as Texas. It's time to beat them. Like, it's time to go. But I mean, it would just be awesome. I've already been texting my old teammates from Texas, being like, oh, you better watch out. I'm coming. You better lose. You better take a loss, just messing with them. But, yeah, I think it would be awesome. It would fire me up. And I think it would fire up our team going into the rest of the season.
Now, we've talked about your college athletics journey. Want to get into some other questions, academics, otherwise. But first, I noticed I think it was your Texas bio, it said that in high school you also played basketball, softball, and lacrosse. So which of those sports was your favorite, and which one would you have played in college if not volleyball?
Oh. I really liked basketball. I think that was super fun. I mean, I was not good at all. I did it mostly for fun, but I thought it was a really fun sport. It's also like kind of high intensity, high point scoring, just like volleyball. There's never a dull moment. So I kind of thought that was so much fun, and it kind of is the same kind of team atmosphere, and it's inside, so there's AC, of course. But yeah, I loved basketball. I mean, it wasn't very good, but it was still fun to, mess around. And my dad played basketball a little bit all through high school. So I kind of had a little bit of familiarity with it. So I feel like that's where probably I would have gone if not volleyball.
Okay. Now, I feel like the fun thing about basketball is also if you hit it like a deep three, you could go Crownover from the moon. And the reason I bring that up is because of leading into academics. Now, majoring in physics, not something that you see a lot of D1 athletes do. What drew you to physics?
Yeah. That's kind of a hard question. I mean, I've always kind of, wanted more from my experience in college, not just the volleyball side. I've held myself to a really high academic standard as well. And I'm really good at math. So that would kind of narrow things down for me easily. And then I just kind of loved physics growing up and kind of thought, like, why not? It would be awesome. But since learning more over the past couple of years, actually having the major, it's so fascinating. It's really cool to just, I find myself doing homework for fun, which is something I would never have thought of about 3 or 4 years ago. So.
And then, what are your career goals for the future after college?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think I want to become a pilot and I want to join the military. My grandfather was a pilot in the Air Force, and so I kind of just want to follow in his footsteps and see where that takes me in the future.
Now, the reason that I said to the moon, you had a 1-week internship with NASA this summer. I mean, what was that like?
It was incredible. I honestly, I didn't think much of it when Katie Martinez came to me with it, and she was like, yeah, you should probably do this. I mean, you're a physics major. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll kind of give it a try. I don't know what to expect. But when I got there, I was there with, I think, 6 or 7 other athletes, and 2 of them being from Mizzou. And I mean, we just had a blast. We saw the entire place. We kind of saw a little bit of SpaceX, what they got going on. I got to see what it was like to kind of be an engineer at NASA and shadow them. And then we also got to go to astronaut high school at the end and just kind of present what we learned and what we saw and kind of the different rockets we saw. We got to see 2 rocket launches, which I thought was awesome. So it really just kind of opened my eyes to what the possibilities could be in the space world.
Yeah, and in the Mizzou article on it, they quoted you saying, "I've always been fascinated by the world of space exploration." What is it about space exploration? Astronauts, rocket launches, stuff like that interest you?
I think it's just that the possibilities are endless. I mean, there's so much to discover, there's so much to learn. And I think kind of we should be always learning and always hungry to see what else is there and what else is out there. And I think it's just fascinating to discover new things and things that we didn't think was possible, or things that shouldn't be scientifically true, but it just you don't know until you discover it. So I think it's a whole vast, world of possibilities that are just waiting to be uncovered.
Now, majoring in physics, internship at NASA, you said you want to be a pilot in the Air Force. Is astronaut Marina Crownover a possibility or dream job in the future?
I mean, before I went to NASA, if you asked me that question, I would be like, absolutely not. I'm not sure what that would entail or what that would be. But after kind of going through that whole experience and seeing what they do day to day, I think it would be awesome. Like, I would love that possibility in the future. So it's just kind of see where it goes and see, how I am in 10 years and then 15 and just see kind of, but it's definitely in the back of my mind as a possibility.
And I mean, hey, they're supposed to be going back to the moon pretty soon, so you never know.
Yeah, maybe I'll hitch a ride.
Maybe Mars is next after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite space-based movie?
Ooh. Oh, I really like Interstellar. I watched that movie with my dad a long time, like a couple years ago, and I really liked it. But I honestly don't watch a lot of space movies, which seems to be misleading. But yeah, I'm not a big space movie watcher, but I do love space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, obviously, you have the academic side of things. We talked about athletics, but you also, from what I saw, you have a 3-year-old dog, lab gold named Scout.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Scout?
Oh, I love Scout. He's my little baby. Yeah, and we got him a couple years ago. Because I have been begging since I was a little girl to get a dog, and they never did it, which was very convenient that they did it right before I left, but whatever. But no, I love that dog. I miss him so much, and I think that's one of the hardest things is leaving him. And of course, my parents, I love them. I'm just kidding. I love them too, but my dog he's like a emotional support animal. He's always been there for me. And I miss cuddling with him all the time. But my mom does this thing on her Instagram page where she, takes pictures of my dog in like yellow or, whatever. She's been doing this since I was at Texas. And she always puts like an inspirational message on the post and then just like, it's game day. And so I always repost that on my story because I think it's so cute. And I mean, she does it every time. So.
Now, I'm curious, I'm assuming that Scout is back with your family in Austin then?
Yeah.
So when you return home to visit, does Scout immediately go up to you or kind of give you the cold shoulder for a little bit? Because that's like when I go home, that's what my dog does. Is
a little sassy.
They're mad at me and they ignore me for a day or two.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's just excited to see me, I think, right off the bat. And honestly, my parents, when they have drove down here to come watch me play, they bring my dog. So I've seen him a couple of times. And he runs right up to me. I mean, he loves my father. that is his person. Because I left, he got a little salty, and so he absolutely loves my dad, but he gives me so much love when I see him.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Wish my dog would do that, but oh, well, you know, he warms up eventually.
Yeah.
It's all good. So, a couple questions. I found it was a 2022 Twitter post by Texas Volleyball introducing you. It had a favorite band and TV show. Listed favorite band as Motley Crue.
Yes.
Something I feel like probably not a lot of people in college right now have their favorite band as Motley Crue. So what is it about them that makes them your favorite band?
Man, I mean, my mom kind of introduced me and my sister to rock growing up, and she was very much a rocker, and so I kind of grew up listening to that music. And then, Motley Crue is awesome. So many bangers. So I love to rock out to Motley Crue to get hype. I do it a lot with my parents, and I do it with my sister. So I just think they have a lot of really good songs, and it gets you going. So.
And then we talked about you played softball in high school. Did they have like any walk-ups for the team? And if so, was your walk-up song a Motley Crue song?
Oh, I wasn't very good. I wasn't really playing, but I don't think I did a walk-up song, but I probably would have done Motley Crue if I did.
Okay. And then it listed your favorite TV show as Psych, which I found really interesting because I love the show Psych as well.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, who is your favorite character and why?
Probably Lassiter. I love how he gets messed with, but I also love the relationship between Sean and Gus, because it kind of reminds me of me and my best friend and how we act. And us, like, all growing up, we would just get into the craziest of situations and have to get out of it. So that's why it's kind of like my comfort show, because it kind of reminds me a lot of my best friend and how we just always get into stuff. But we always get out of it, and we always seem to be okay. So that's why I love that so much.
Based off the show, I can only imagine that you probably have some interesting stories, you too. But my favorite character is probably Gus. I'm a big Dule Hill fan.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of his shows, so that'd probably be my go-to. But as we wrap up, bringing things back to volleyball, this has been a really good year for the team so far, knocking on the door of the top 25. How do you feel like the team is doing at reaching the goals that you set at the beginning of the season?
I think we're doing things that I didn't think we initially believed was possible, which I think is really exciting for us because, all of these different, being top 2 in the SEC, some of our goals were to be, to win SEC and to be top 3 and then also to be in the Sweet 16. And I think what we're doing so far is really setting us up to achieve those goals. And I think with each game and each win, we gain a little more confidence and a little more belief that, like, heck yeah, we can do this. Like, we are a top 25 team. And so we just work every day to prove that. And I think it's going really well.
And what are going to be the most important things for the rest of the year, the rest of the regular season, in reaching those goals? And what do you think is possible in the rest of the regular season?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just having a growth mindset, always growing, always getting better, always finding ways to level up our game. I think it's going to be so important, and just playing like really consistent volleyball and really great volleyball for the rest of this season. A lot of times teams can sometimes look like this, going up and down, getting losses that nobody expected. But I think if we can stay really dominant as a team and just taking care of the things we need to take care of, and just proving that, we are top in the SEC and, we should stay there. I think that's going to be really important. And then just in these big games, just like tomorrow, or that we're just going to ball out. We're just going to play as hard as we can. And we're going to show teams that, we should be ranked, and that we can beat whoever we want as long as, we execute what we need to execute. So. And
as we wrap up, is there anything else that you like to say to Mizzou fans?
keep coming, because I think playing at home kind of fuels our fire, and we absolutely love the crowd and we love how loud it gets. So yeah, MIZ.
That is going to do it for this week's episode of Over the Net, a Mizzou volleyball interview series. Marina, thank you very much for coming on the show, joining us today, and best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to check out Majority Rules every single week, covering the best in Mizzou Olympic sports. We're going to have a Halloween special on Thursday, so keep a lookout for that, everybody. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and the benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not the Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.